Hello and welcome, viewers. Welcome to Chiller Avenue, the horror podcast where we follow the blood splattered road. I am NIGHTMARECRIPT. I guess you could kind of call me an ex Chucky YouTuber. Well, I just prefer myself as a horror YouTuber, and I want to be like a horror filmmaker and whatnot. And since I don't have a lot of time to talk about all the things I want to, I thought, why not have this podcast where we could talk about literally anything horror related. And so, yeah, I'm NIGHTMARECRIPT, and I'm joined by two other people. If any of you guys want to introduce yourself next.
Ladies first.
I ain't no me. Oh, that's how I starting this? Okay.
Damn.
Jeez.
The pilot,
You could have just said Barbie since okay, but hey, this is it's a little different. It'll get big and stay on your toes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, my name is Dr. Scoliosis, and I am also a horror fan, and I love horror movies. I grew up watching horror movies, and my childhood was filled with horror movies. And now I'm on a horror movie podcast, pretty much. That's my life.
Love
Yes.
that. Love that. Well, I'm Joshua Bates, but my online persona is Damn Dude Industries. I actually am different from these two. I actually didn't really grow up on horror. I was a big fan of like Chucky growing up, obviously, because that's mainly what I do. But I kind of came into like becoming a horror fan very late in the game. But I'm happy that I became one because I feel like I can truly express who I am through horror. And that's why I'm here, because I love talking about horror, and in turn talking about myself, I guess you could say.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, we're all just a big old horror family.
We're fucked up.
Yeah, definitely. And they know it too, that I have quite the creative mind.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I think that's why I like horror a lot, because I feel like we can truly like express ourselves. There's no filters, there's no bullshit. It's straight to the point, I guess you
Yeah,
could say.
that's true.
Yeah,
Definitely.
exactly.
And I feel accepted within the family of horror for a lot of reasons, more than just one, definitely. But yeah, it's definitely, it makes me feel more normal overall. But yeah, for the
It,
first episode, we definitely have quite a bit to talk about. Um, I definitely, one of them I want to definitely discuss more is Chucky. I know some people don't like my take on Chucky currently, but I've been super open and vocal about it because I have a lot of issues with the direction of Chucky, and I'm vocal because I love Chucky, and it hurts to say the stuff that I'm saying about Chucky, but I'm just being honest in how I feel about it, and there's nothing wrong with that overall. And I want Chucky to be better, and I feel like we're not getting the Chucky we deserve overall, and I'm just being honest about it. Since people are kind of familiar with my take on Chucky, I'll go ahead and go last on explaining more on what I have a problem with on Chucky, because I will go into more detail than usual. If any of you guys want to go deeper into what you guys think on
ooh,
Chucky currently.
I mean I can go first. I actually raised my hand when you said that. I don't know why.
This is
I was,
school. We're,
yeah.
we're in horror
Um.
school.
All right. I'll try to keep this short. But All right. So obviously I love Chucky. Cause well, first actually I'll say that I feel like the reason we have to defend ourselves about Chucky is just because we have, I guess, negative things to say about Chucky does not mean that we are not a Chucky fan. I feel like a lot of fans are very diverse, because if we say something bad about Chucky, oh, you're immediately like, oh, you're not a Chucky fan no more, or you're fake, or it's kind of like we feel like if you're not a fan, like if you don't like what is Chucky related, like whatever they produce that's Chucky, whether it's a TV show or games or whatever, if you don't like it, you're not a fan anymore, or it's like you have to like everything. And I don't like that. The best part about being in a community is the diverse conversations and all that. So obviously I love Chucky. Like look at all the shit behind me if you watch videos or whatever. I literally have spent over thousands of dollars on Chucky at this point, damn near, and still am. So, I feel like the fake fan or you're not a fan anymore is kind of repetitive at this point. But I feel like Chucky to me, uh, it up until season one was pretty good. Of course, we had our hiccups with Colt and Curse, and every Chucky movie in some way, shape, or form has had its hiccups, but we still love it. And I feel like with season one and two, I feel like you said before, Rome, they were not honest with us. Don Mancini was really pushing that this was going to be Child's Play 1, Child's Play 2 vibes, going back to that kind of tone. Like even the teasers for it was like in the toy shop and everything. Like so they're setting up the aesthetic of what it was going to be. They were basically telling us all these things that it was going to be, and I feel like it did not deliver on those things at all. It went in a completely different direction, which I mean, I'm okay with. I'm not. It's not like I'm not mad in the direction that Chucky's going in terms of like the story. I actually feel like it's actually been very creative in its own way. It's doing something different than just the regular formula of Chucky, but it's just the way they execute it. I just feel like they kind of missed the ballpark a little bit. They're focusing on the kids too much, which I know it's a show they're supposed to, but it's like it's a Chucky show, and it's like sometimes it's like we wouldn't see Chucky for half the episode, and it's like, bro, it's called Chucky. You know what I mean? It's just that's my kind of issue with it. I don't like all the continuity issues. Uh, I feel like they just kind of have dug themselves so far at this point with some things. They just kind of said whatever. But just Chucky's in a weird spot right now, but I still love him. I just want more. I just want Voodoo stuff fleshed out more. I just want them to kind of, you know, get across exactly what the show is, because I feel like they're just kind of throwing things in the wall right now. They're just kind of going with the flow and everything. There's no like real.
Like being a dead horse, pretty much, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I obviously there's a story there. Obviously there's a coherent story. It's just not, I guess, where we thought the story would go. And I just feel like the story they're telling, they could do it a little better with various things. And I can always talk about that later, like because I know people are gonna be like, okay, well, what are those things? It's like, all right, but we can explain that. But that's kind of like just my take on it, is like I love Chucky. There were parts of the show and stuff that I love, but there's things that I hate, and I just make Chucky great again. Hashtag.
I agree, and I agree with you a little bit, but then I have my own, views of it. So I grew up watching Chucky. Like Child's Play 2, in my opinion, is my favorite all-time horror movie, and I fucking, you know, I collect Chucky dolls and all that stuff and all the merch. Well, some of the merch. And I think the last good Chucky movie in the OG continuity would have to be Curse of Chucky, because whenever that movie came out, it was like it was back to the roots of what Chucky should be, and they did it. They executed that really good in that movie. So then, I know people are like they're mixed on Cold of Chucky. They like Cold of Chucky. That one broke the bank for me. I didn't really like that movie because of continuity. I felt like Chucky would like his character. They like keep writing over, like they're just writing too much stuff of him and making him turn to a clown, especially with the TV series. They're like making him like take selfies and talk to kids and act like he's cool with them and shit. If it was Chucky from 1988, they would all be dead because he would not give a shit. And what bothers me about the show is that like what Josh said is that they're trying to make season 1 sound like it was going to be like a back to basics formula when it really wasn't. It was like a slap to the face. And season 2, in my opinion, is probably the worst I've seen Chucky in, because like I said, the character's different. The episodes were like they were structured so weirdly, because I'm pretty sure like in the first season the episodes were written by different people each episode,
Mm-hmm.
which I think that's a problem, because you know Don's like I think what he's doing is he's like the people in the writers room, they're like going in the room talking about ideas and stuff. and then someone says like a bizarre idea. Don's like, "Oh yes, let's use that," and like they're trying to fit it into this Chucky universe, and it's like it's not working out. Like Chucky wearing a fucking like the bell dress and all that, destroying
Nah,
Tiffany,
yeah.
like stuff like that, and that's the budget issues. Also another thing, like some of the animatronics in that show are like the worst I've seen Chucky. Like there's a scene in season 1 when he's chasing Lexi, and it looks like a robot. Like it looks like they like strapped 2 legs on a vacuum cleaner and just moved his ass over there. Like it's not like the same Chucky I know I grew up watching, because I like the raw Chucky. The Chucky doesn't give a shit. The one that looks realistic, and when you see his face, you're like, ugh, he's fucking nasty. When you see the TV series Chucky, you're like, oh, he's adorable. Like that's not what I want to see. And the people who complain, like about the people who complain to people about people complaining about the show, I don't like those people bother me, because they think that, oh, you guys don't like Chucky, you guys don't like the new Chucky, you guys are fake fans. And no, we're not fake fans. It's just that we all have different views on our killer doll. And like I don't like I'm saying, like this is all my opinion. You guys can think whatever you guys want. Like I'm not trying to like, be like, oh, your opinion like doesn't matter. No. I'm open for opinions. Like I don't mind opinions. But I just don't like being called a fake fan because I don't like the new material. And that's just like it's in every community. Star Wars, Halloween, all that. Especially Star Wars. But I just feel like Chucky the series in general is like it's a downfall and a downgrade. And I'd hope it would get kicked on its feet again. Like someone would take the character, the license of Chucky, and just bring back life to what it was before. Because now when I watch Chucky or hear about Chucky, I just roll my eyes. Before I would get excited. Like let's say Curse of Chucky days. Whenever Curse came out, I would be excited to watch, hear anything Chucky. But like now with the new stuff coming out, I'm like sinking in my seat because it's not as fun as it used to be. Like especially the first 3 movies of Chucky, like I just love the premise. It's simple. Like I'd rather take simple than try and do something different, because yeah, it can be simple, but like let's take a movie like Halloween 2018, which also has mixed reviews. Halloween 2018 went back to basics. It was simple like the original, but the way they executed it was badass. And if they can make a Chucky movie where it's like actually like the first 3 movies, like it can be the simple like same plot, just make it more effective and more cool. Like it isn't like I wouldn't mind it. Like I'd rather take what I liked before than just put it in a random blender and just say, okay, here you go. This is half-assed Chucky. Because I'm not there for that. I'm there for the Charles Lee Ray fucked up individual killing people and framing people as a doll and shit. I like the excitement of Chucky, like in the early movies. Like that's why I miss. Like we don't get that anymore. There are a couple times in the TV series where it sound like it would be OG Chucky talking, but like there's too much other stuff going on crammed into the plot to where it just ruins that flavor. But yeah, I just feel that Chucky. I feel like he's like down. He's really decreasing. Like he's gonna be iconic. Like he's always gonna be iconic. But like where he is now, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Like I'm mixed on that, honestly.
Not the Chucky that we used to know.
Definitely not. Definitely not the same Chucky. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I definitely you both had really good points, and they're both points that I do agree with. Like for example, pretty much being promised a tone that we didn't really get. And even like this could even be dated back all the way to like when Curse of Chucky was being released. He was like he promised like an ultra scary Chucky, and for the most part, Curse was a great entry, and I really loved Curse of Chucky. But then after that, he was like, okay, well, let's go back to the goofier stuff, and that's when he released Cold, which Cold still had its horror undertones, like weaved in there pretty well, but it still had goofy elements, and I mean, at the end of the day, Colt will always kind of be synonymous for like my success on YouTube, and for me, like building on my platform, because it all started with that movie, and so I'll always in some way have a soft spot for it, but it has issues. It has a ton of plot issues, like a lot of plot holes. It doesn't obey the rules of like the voodoo stuff, and that's something that's always bothered me about the movies. Is it's very inconsistent and it doesn't ever follow its rules. It's kind of like almost whenever like Domisi wrote the scripts for these movies, he's just going off the top of his head instead of rewatching it to make sure that these plot lines actually align. It's really weird. I don't know why it's like that, but yeah, it's kind of like what it seems like. It seems like he's just kind of like he's trying to remember things off the top of his head, and be like, okay, well I'm gonna do this for the voodoo, and it's like, you know, I don't know. It's obvious that he doesn't like the voodoo aspect, and he's pretty much shown that through how he writes the voodoo. He doesn't really respect it or give it the proper respect it deserves, and it's a little bothersome to me, honestly. And definitely something about the Chucky TV series, like how they promised that like very back to basics. It gave us like, you know, just something that it just doesn't align with the promises. Like, oh, this is gonna be like Child's Play 1 and 2. It really wasn't. Like it was kind of like Riverdale meets Chucky, and I don't want Riverdale meets Chucky. I want Child's Play 1 Chucky. I want Child's Play 2 Chucky. I don't want some teen drama show. I'm not.
Like
That's
it
not what
says
I'm
in
looking
Disney
for.
Channel.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not looking for that, and so that's what really bothers me about the show is that we're kind of promised something, and they didn't really give it to us. And there's actually way worse plot holes in the show, and I'll be getting into that in a little bit. But it's just I just don't really understand what the deal was, especially with like season two. Because like season one, I'm gonna be honest, I don't hate season one like very much at all. Like yeah, that season has its issues. Like there are definitely some moments where I'm like, this doesn't belong in this. Like this doesn't feel like it belongs in a Chucky movie or show. But it's still like, you know, I still kind of like just shrug it off. Like okay, well it's not too bad. But yeah, the first season's not the worst. It definitely still has its issues. I noticed like a few like filming errors, a few continuity issues, and so there's still things I noticed in that one, but it's not the worst. Season two is where it gets bad because season two it definitely for me it just feels like a fan like it's just like feels like fan fiction. It doesn't feel like it belongs in the franchise at all. Like
It's like a drug, dude.
yeah, exactly. Like it doesn't feel like it belongs in the franchise, and it's just like the pacing's so terrible. Like I don't know why anyone hasn't brought this up. Like the pacing is fucking awful. Like the writing for the and the pacing, like all together, it's just a fucking mess. Like it makes no sense, and you could tell that people came up with a bunch of ideas, and they try to figure out a way to include everyone's idea because like as soon as like one idea would be introduced, it would be gone in the next episode, and it bothered me so much because there actually I'm gonna be honest, there were some cool things that they did like introduce in season two that I would have loved to see explored more, but they barely explored it, and that's what bothered me about it. Is they would like be okay, look at this cool like new idea we have, and then it'd be gone like in the next episode, and it would just get written off and never brought up again. It's like, why? And it's like also another issue is that the series and the franchise in general has like a very bad habit of explaining something happening but not actually showing it and just kind of like being like, yeah, like that happened, you know, let's sweep under the rug. For example, the Chucky head, you know, Cult of Chucky, pretty much Kyle admits to killing it, pretty much, and it's never brought up again after that. And I'm just wondering, like, why? Like I don't want, like, in the first place, even, why make it to where his head gets blown off? Because honestly, like, I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunity for that Chucky, for that Stitch head Chucky. Now it's just gone. and that's what bothers me about it. It's like they
They'll
kind of
probably bring
write,
it back.
yeah, like they're
Yeah.
writing themselves into a hole though, like kind of, or either that, like they're either writing themselves into a hole, or they're just writing as they go along, and they don't have an actual plan for what they want to do, because none of the plot lines ever feel thought through. It feels like they would be writing, they're like, oh, I got it, I know how to push the plot forward, but it wouldn't actually put the plot forward at all, like really. Like the wedding bell being Chucky, like that's it's stupid. And you can even see when he moves his hand and it reveals that's Chucky, you can see that the shape of the head changes. Like, make that make sense. Like, how? It's just that wedding bell, that whole wedding bell twist is stupid. Like, I don't know why they couldn't have just made it like a wedding bell doll. Because the Tiffany doll, I'm so mad about that, by the way. The fact that they wrote that
Oh, that
Tiffany
they
doll.
just yeah, they just killed her like right away, and it was
Yeah,
like
like
wow.
I was so excited too. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, Tiffany in doll form is back, and I was so hyped. And she was only in it for like fucking like what, like 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wrote her off so quickly, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, come on, like explore that a little bit. And I wanted to see her a lot more, and they didn't actually go through with it, and it bothered me. And it's like, come on, like that disappointed me. And also Colonel Chucky, I wanted to see more Colonel Chucky, because at first when I saw the bald-headed Chucky, I was like, that's kind of like what? Like I thought it was a little like goofy, but when they showed off like the actual like when he became Colonel Chucky, I'm like, okay, like this is interesting. I want to see where this goes. Again, wrote him off in the next episode. Same with when they revealed that Jennifer Tilly was in the Tiffany doll for Pursuit of Chucky. Wrote her off the next episode. And that's what I mean. The pacing is so bad that they can't even like linger on these ideas for a little longer. They can't just be like, okay, well, we're gonna do this a little bit, and like they can't at least try to develop these ideas. They have to write them off so quickly, and it bothers me. I hate it so much that they do that.
You forgot one.
Which one?
This always bothered me. They didn't really fucking tell you how Andy escaped from Call of Chucky.
Nope.
They didn't.
They. Oh my God.
Well,
Yes, because I.
I think Kyle was like I want to say like him and Kyle talked about it, and he was like, thanks for like freeing me or something like that. He said something along those lines.
Here's what they could have done, dude. They could have said, fuck all the high school fucking bullshit. High School Musical, Chucky. You know, make a whole episode based on the Night of Cult. That would have been good. That would have been more appreciated.
That would have been awesome. Like just a
Like, it would be Kyle and Andy just, yeah, it'd be an episode dedicated to those two of them killing all these Chuckies and getting the fuck out that asylum. That would have been badass, but no, they just didn't want to do that.
Yeah, that would have been. I would have loved to see that, because it would have been so cool to like see how everything like fell into place. And yeah, I don't know why they didn't do that, because that would have been so neat to see for, for that episode. Like just for one episode, just about Andy and Kyle escaping. Yeah, I'd love to see that. And another thing, I almost forgot. I really need to bring this up. So I was reading like pretty much a Reddit post was asking, like, in season 2, right? How is Andy able to walk fine when his leg is all fucked up? Like, after he escapes, like, he's walking just fine. He has no limp or anything. And that's true. And I'll even bring up an example from another, horror property, Scream 5. Dewey, like, what happened to him? Was it, like, Scream 3 or it's one of the Screams. It's either Scream 3 or Scream 4. Like Dewey gets his leg messed up, right? Like, which Scream is that? Scream 3 or 4? I can't remember. Like, right, Dom?
I don't remember, actually. I haven't seen those movies in a while.
Yeah, I don't remember which Scream it is. I'm sorry, I have a bad memory, guys. But, yeah, basically...
You have a bad memory. I literally watched them like a month ago. I should know.
Yeah, you're all good. But basically, what I'm trying to say is Dewey got his leg messed up in one of those movies. And he had a limp in Scream 5. Like, he had a limp and everything. And the continuity in Scream is better than Chucky, because Chucky can't even keep straight. That Andy's legs messed up. He should be limping. And I made a joke on that Reddit post, and I'm like, it's bad continuity because like the power of bad continuity allowed him to walk like just fine. And I was being like very like sarcastic and like kind of like snarky, but I mean, you know, they really, I don't know why they didn't keep true to that. Maybe they forgot, but still, it's like, you know, it's I don't know. It just kind of bothers me, that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking of more ideas because there's a lot that they messed up in season 2, like it's just in general. Because season 1, like I said, it has issues, but season 2, like there's like I could be here all day listing all the issues with season 2. For example, Gwen and Gwenda, complete wasted opportunity. I hate what they did to those characters. I hate what they did to Tiffany. Like they
There's so
ruined.
many problems with Glenn and Glinda. Like
Yeah, like there's
I
so
can't
much
even.
wasted opportunity. Like they could have
That
done so much for those characters, and they just kind of wasted them. Like they weren't like they were just kind of there, you know. Like they didn't actually really contribute much to the story. They're just there, and that's what bothered
see
me.
that's where like I kind of divert a little bit because even though like trust me, out of everyone, I know that there's so much more they could have did with them, but I don't think they were a complete like I'm just thinking of like the scene, for example, when um fuck, which one was it? I think it was Glenn that helped Nika and them escape when they went in the car and everything and they drove off. Like for example, that would have not happened if it wasn't for them. I'm just trying to think of like scenes that like yeah, like I mean
Another thing too is that like I don't know, they don't remember the events of Sea of Chucky really, and then not to mention, I think it would have been cool if Gwenda was still like evil and stuff because I feel like
yeah
it would have added that like kind of like a dynamic between those characters, and it would add more depth to their relationship.
yeah
She
that
did kill
I
though.
can
She
agree with
did
that.
kill. I will say that. Like she did. Like remember she killed that
Yeah,
nun.
she did
And
kill, but
and she makes
regardless,
the weapon and she makes the weapons and all that, so she still has that evil side of her. It's just not like because like I talked about it in a video years ago when I think that they should have did it where Glinda's on Chucky's side and Glenn is on like Andy's side, but they just
yeah,
I don't know, they forgot about Seed and everything, which I don't know, I
it's
felt
not
like
that
that was
hard to forget
just
about a movie like Seed though.
yeah, like I feel like they did it to kind of give them a clean slate so that he could do what they wanted to do with him now instead of just what um how they should be, because even though
I mean,
yeah
Seed was. I mean, Seed. He did make Seed though. Like that's he did all that shit.
yeah
Yeah,
in like even though like because I have to clarify this to everyone always, but um even though we are not Don Mancini and it's his ideas so it can go in the direction that he and the team wants, I still feel like the characters that they presented, you can kind of get an idea of how they are going to grow up as. Like, yeah, it's not our say, but as fans, I feel like we can still like theorize and everything how we think. And Glenn and Glenda, personality wise, like Glenn, I feel like yeah, he's about how I would imagine him, but Glinda, no. Glinda was a complete like I feel like she should have been completely different, but they're
yeah,
just basically twins. Instead of them being different personalities, like was introduced in Seed, because in Seed they were technically two different personalities. One was evil, one was good. One wanted to be like wanted to be with Tiffany, one wanted to be and go like be like Chucky, and I feel like those two personalities like they kind of combined in the TV show instead of being two different personalities, which
yeah,
is just a little disappointing a little bit.
yeah. True, and
I
not
I
to
agree with that. And Brad
yeah,
Chucky, they should have they should have went the original idea after Bride,
yeah.
where
I
Glenn was
agree.
gonna be a like full blood killer.
Well,
I
well,
And
definitely agree. It would have made it
another
more
thing about
interesting.
that, yeah, it would have been more interesting. Another thing about that is that I also didn't like how like they switch bodies and their voices change. Like what? That like
oh yeah, yeah.
never
When they went to
explained
the
that.
doll, when they went to the doll and they got their England voice back, right? Like their UK
Yeah,
voice.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah, I didn't think that was clever at all. I
See,
thought
see,
that was a eye
I
roll.
I thought that like if they would have tried to introduce something where they were like, for example, because they went inside of the doll, and because like basically because they're two people, putting them together is what like kind of created that voice. Like two different voice created that,
Yeah.
or something like that. Just anything, but they just didn't do nothing. Um, and I felt like they could have did that.
I don't know, like the one episode that really bothered me in season two was the one where it's just about Tiffany, because it just, I don't know, like I I get that they're trying to do something different, right? But I did not like that episode. I felt like it was just like it's a stupid who done it episode, and it was awful. And one of the things I didn't like about it was that they tried to use like basically they used Gwen and Gwenda for like a sort of like a moment where they talk about it's like a rant about like non-binary people, and how people don't understand non-binary. Now look, I don't have an issue with that at all. Like non-binary people, I know people in real life that are non-binary,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have an issue with that at all. And I don't have an issue with anything LGBTQ plus oriented at all. But I do not like how they handled that kind of topic in this episode. I just feel like it was just too like on the nose, too like aggressive and forceful. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it took me out of the show. Like I don't want. That's not what I'm watching the show for. I understand that the series overall is trying to, you know, like pretty much like promote inclusivity, and I'm for inclusivity in not just horror but in everything. But I, like I said, I just didn't like how they handled that topic here, especially the nameplate that says they them.
Yeah,
Like,
I was literally about to say that
yeah,
because
I
like
don't like that. Like, you don't got to do that, you know?
yeah, it's just it's too forced. It's like we get it, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I just hate when it's like they treat us like we're stupid.
yeah,
That's when the show started taking me out of it, is when they started like not even with the they them, but when they just started like like you said, the continuity stuff and all that, just like the LGBTQ, like it's all just like some of it is so like they treat you like you're stupid, and they have to present it to you, or they have to explain it, or they have to make it where you visually can see it, instead of just being creative and trying to tell you it in a creative way, instead of just shoving it like the license plate. You didn't need to tell us that. We always
yeah.
can kind of get that, you know.
They can do that, but they can't make like solid movie references throughout the whole
Yeah,
like throughout the
yeah.
Oh, dude,
show.
I
There's movie
hate the movie
references.
references. Like,
Like
Like that pissed me off because like there's people I haven't seen Bound at all, or where the fuck that movie was. They had that Gina girl. Like I've
yeah,
heard of. The only thing I've heard, dude. The only thing I know about that is that I know about the movie because of Sea of Chuck. That's about it. And the
yeah,
other shit that happened, like, well, like especially if you're trying to like do this shit to like this since Chucky, I feel like they're trying to make him fit into the more, new
yeah.
generation. I don't think anybody, unless you're like really old school, would know about those references and stuff. Like the one they did of Marlon Brando whenever Chucky was the colonel. He's like the horror, like
Yeah.
that. That those are just. I just think those that writing's lazy.
Yeah, I
They
agree.
do that
And
throughout the whole movie.
you
I mean the
reminded
show.
me, like, I hate the movie references. I think they should really quit using them, because, like you're saying, it kind of just tells me that they really don't have any solid ideas. So they gotta brawl from other people, and they're doing it too much to the point where it's just, it feels like all the series is just movie references. This isn't Robot Chicken. This isn't Family Guy. This is not South Park. This is fucking Chucky, all right?
Exactly.
You don't gotta reference a movie every like few seconds, and it's annoying that there's so many of the references, because it feels like they can't. Chucky can't stand on his own at this point. They can't just like make sort of moments, like they can't make their own moments to the point to where that if someone wanted to, they could reference those said moments. And no, like, and especially the Clockwork Orange reference where they're like brainwashing Chucky. Like they brainwashed him with what, like The Thing, like multiple gore scenes in horror movies. Like no, that
And then some My
no.
Little Pony shit after. Like what?
Yeah, it's like that. I don't like the cute Chucky, like, and how that all happened. That was stupid, and it was also very like vague on if it even fucking worked or not. The buff Chucky was unexplained. It was
Oh,
stupid. I hated the buff Chucky so much. He is the bane to my existence. I don't like his stupid fucking face. Like I hate buff Chucky. Like it's literally like I feel like it's just like Chucky's like new low, and I'm afraid for what's to come in season 3 because there's like mention of like what Chucky doing TikTok dances. Please don't.
oh,
Please don't do that. Like I swear, I will sell almost all my Chucky shit. I swear to God, I will keep only my life-size Chucky dolls. I will get rid of my Chucky Speaks doll. I will get rid of my Chucky figures. No, Chucky. No, that's not what I want from Chucky. I don't care if it's supposed to be trendy or not. The one thing that I don't want from Chucky is I don't want Chucky to feel the need to be trendy. I want him to just be Chucky. And this is not Chucky. This is a fucking imposter at this point.
it's already bad enough he's doing selfies and shit to stealing phones. Like
This is Chuckafina.
Chucky don't have Chucky don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what anyone says about like regardless of like Michael. Like this is we'll save this topic for another day. But I like the Michael Myers franchise is a mess, and the last couple of movies haven't really been that good, in
Oh,
my
we'll talk
opinion.
about that later because I think I
But
have it listed.
here's the thing about that, Michael, is that he like yeah, like all these like movies are or like mid and bad and all that. At least he's actually still the same character. He doesn't say shit. He moves like a like force of evil. They can't they executed Michael perfectly in the new movies, but they can't do it to Chucky. They want to try to switch Chucky. And like I said, I'll take a rehash over anything. I don't care.
I mean, I want to wish for the best on Chucky, but at the same time, I'm just like concerned, like I don't want to seem like I'm a hater or anything because I'm not. I love Chucky. I grew up on Chucky. I've been a fan since I was like 2, and yeah, I've always been a fan of this franchise, and I'm just sad to see it going down the route that it's going, and even to the point where I don't even really want to do Chucky content anymore. Like, I don't feel fulfilled doing this content anymore, and it's a part of why I want to take a couple of steps back from doing Chucky content and just not do it at all because, like, I don't want that label anymore. I just want to be seen as a horror content creator, and I don't want to be seen as lesser than because of like there's other YouTubers out doing the same thing that I've been doing for years and stuff, and I just don't want to seem lesser than. I just want to make like stuff that I could be proud of, and I don't feel like I'm proud of the Chucky stuff anymore. No offense to the people who loved that content for the longest time. I don't want it to seem like, I, don't. I don't want it to seem like I'm ungrateful for pretty much having a platform because of Chucky, because I'm grateful for it, but I don't. I feel like it's time that I just start setting up to part ways with Chucky. And when I release Child's Play Revival, that will most likely be the last project Chucky related that I release. And I want to do it on a smaller scale. And even speaking of Chucky fan films and whatnot, like I just gotta say, like Charles, right, is what I want from Chucky. And I feel like the one thing that I'm realizing about like Chucky in general is that a lot of the things that are reminding me why I love Chucky are the things that are not coming out currently. Like I don't even recognize Chucky anymore because of what's going on with Chucky currently. But when I think of like, Charles and another thing that I'll be getting into in a second, but when it comes to like Charles, like I'm reminded why I love Chucky. I love that scary tone for Chucky. I love how he cracks wise. He doesn't crack wise the same way that he does. It's actually, I'm gonna be honest, not like this crack wising is not creative in the show or in the movies. Like currently, like in Culture Chucky, he didn't really crack many good lines. I'm gonna be honest, but pretty much I'm used to like that, and then like how he has like kind of like a dark sense of humor and stuff, and how sadistic he is, and I missed that Chucky, and Charles gave me it, and even though Charles was very limited, unfortunately, they still gave it to us, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm a big fan of that universe, and I have nothing but love and respect for Tony, Biz, and the Charles team. They put their all into that project, and it sucks that it was so limited, and it bothers me that they had to cut so much out because it's yeah, it's a solid fan film, and we're most likely not gonna get another fan film like it again. It's that good. It's a great fucking fan film, and I just appreciate that project overall. It's Charles, like those people, like Charles, like Tony Biz, Mitch Francis, Michael Lawrence, Shannon, all of them. They did not treat me like someone who's just making content about something they're working on. They treated me like I was a part of the team, and that's something I really appreciate. Something that I'll never forget.
Yeah,
And I love
same.
those guys. They're amazing, and they showed me like they're showing me that why I love Chucky more than what Dom Mancini is doing, and it hurts to say that, but it's true. Charles is what I want from Chucky. I want something scary like that. I don't want what they're doing currently, and I'm tired of people trying to make me feel like my opinions aren't valid because I feel like they are valid, and I have standards on what I want from Chucky, and I'm gonna be honest, the series is not meeting those standards, and that brings me to bring up the game that got canceled. When I played the canceled Chucky game for the first time, right? That game, I'm being completely serious. That
Should probably
game,
tell them about that game. It was made by Tiki Games back in what was the year?
like 2011, 2012.
2011, 2012 is yeah, and it got canceled because it didn't get funded the right amount of money.
But you could
And
tell the people that made it or that were working on it were huge fucking fans of the movies.
dude, they had some cool ideas that I've never like.
They
I would
did.
rather see in the movie than what we have now. And I haven't even played the game. I've seen gameplay. I've seen Romeo beat it like 3 times, and I have no history about the game. But yeah, it really would have been cool if they executed that into like a film or series.
Yeah, the amount of work that those people put into that game for just a little bit of the prototype build that I played, that me and Josh played, they had so much cool shit in there that I'm so devastated after playing it. Like, I'm happy that I finally got to play that build of the game because, I mean, I talked about it in videos. I pretty much talked about how sad it was that it got canceled. And I'm happy I finally got to play that build of the game, but I'm also devastated because we're never going to get the full version because it's so dope. It, like I said, it reminded me of why I love Chucky, and it's fucking it was amazing. It's like a hack slash stealth game, and it would have been so cool to see that game fully fleshed out because it was something like I've never played before, and being able like I remember the day that I actually managed to play it, I could not believe that I was actually playing it. I was like, oh shit, like this is actually happening. And I legit like freaked out because someone actually joined my server and I was like, hey, like I managed to find this build for that canceled Chucky game, and I asked for proof, and he sent me the main menu, and I'm like, how, like how can I play this? And he pretty much helped me set it up real quick, and I did a video, and I'm gonna be honest, that video is probably like one of my favorite videos I released that year because I had so much damn fun playing that game. Like, I'm never gonna forget that I managed to play that game. Like, that's, in my opinion, that's a highlight of my channel. Being able to play something like that, like being one of the first people to actually play it, I'm never gonna forget that. It's a big moment for me, and that game was fucking crazy. It had cool, like, little, it had like a really interesting story. Like, it had like cool elements. Like, they're gonna explore the voodoo in the game more, like something that the movies and the show like doesn't really do, unfortunately. they're gonna explore that. That's a really cool mechanics. Like you go in ragdoll form and like pretend like you're just a doll, and people will just walk past you and think that you're just a doll. And I thought that was super cool. And I'm happy that they had elements like that. And the combat even for what we played was actually pretty fun. Like it was a pretty damn fun game. And I'm sad that that game never got funded because it's a dream to be able to play a game like that. Like that's the dream game for like horror fans. And even though we didn't get the full version, we still got to play a part of it, and it's unforgettable. It's yeah, it's something I'm definitely gonna always think about when I think about how much I love Chucky. That if I'm going to play that, and I'm like, I want Chucky to be more like this. I want more voodoo stuff. I want more like explanation behind that. I want Chucky to just be like, I just want its tone back overall, and it doesn't. It feels cheap now. Like Chucky now just feels super cheap.
It was a game made by fans for the fans,
Yeah,
and I think that was probably the best way to sum it up. Is it had everything that you love about Chucky with more. It explored the voodoo, which was amazing. The way they did that was pretty unique and cool, and kind of kept the game from just being a simple all just going after random people like all night. You gotta fight zombie voodoo people, and you gotta like fight like other voodoo, to get like for him to get his amulet. He had to fight like a big boss lady, and she was like a witch that was summoned by cutting a chicken off. It was just it was cool. And
yeah.
Chucky was just unfazed by it. He was just cracking jokes like, oh, look, this the fat lady sings. And
Yeah, that was
you
fucking
know
sick. I'm not gonna lie, that was such a cool
Yeah,
moment.
that felt more a
yeah.
character than Chucky in the show was.
Yeah, I loved that they had like he had that like it reminded me of the old hack and slash games I used to play when I was a kid, and that's what I loved about it is it had a really cool style to it. And I'm just like I said, I'm just sad that we're never gonna get that because it's dope, and I feel like Chucky getting a game like that, there's a lot of potential for it to sell some good money. Especially like I feel like that game was very ahead of its time because we're getting like Friday the 13th the game now, Evil Dead, Texas Chainsaw, even Dead by Daylight. I feel like definitely like if they tried to do that game now, that game would no problem get made. I think it could definitely get made if
Oh
they
yeah.
try doing that now.
Yeah, with Chucky's popularity and all that, definitely.
Yeah, like I'm sure that they would get the game made, and it would be fucking awesome if it came out exactly how that game was intended. It'd be fucking perfect, and I'm still bummed out that we're never gonna get to play it because it was fucking it's a wild ride. And I remember when by playing it, and I realized that like that one level is all we got. I'm like, damn, like that was awesome, and I'm so
I want
sad.
more now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
like
want more now.
I want more. Like I was so sad that that was it because I'm like, damn,
Dude,
that's awesome.
damn dude. Damn dude is the best way to put that game. Just kind of left you speechless. Like, damn, this is kind of what we could have gotten.
Yeah, this is what I want from Chucky, and I I love that prototype build so much. And yeah, I definitely I mean, we did get close to getting something killer doll related with Charlie the Legend, which you guys should definitely watch my video about that. We've linked down below. But yeah, Charlie the Legend was a massive mess. I yeah, no, don't even get me started on Charlie the Legend. That game was yeah, it had potential, but that potential was ruined by the guy who was making it. And I'll leave it at that.
But what
To
is a good game is a Puppet Master.
Yeah, Pub Master the game. Go play it. It's on Steam. It's technically an open beta, but go play Pub Master the game. That's definitely if you want a killer doll fix, gaming wise, check out Pub Master the game. It's a lot of fun, and if you like Puppet Master, you'll probably really love the game. And by playing it, you're supporting the devs. And October Games are genuinely awesome people. So definitely go check out Puppet Master the game. It's free. All you need is a PC that could run it, which isn't that hard because the game's not a graphically huge game. Like it's not like massive to the point where like it's so like graphically like I guess like what's the right word like can I like it's like it's not like graphics heavy I guess
But
like
it still
it's
looks great.
yeah like it still looks like good like it has a style to it and stuff but the graphics aren't gonna like be hard to run like all you need is just a PC that could like that's pretty much like just could handle like general games pretty much and you're good. It's a good game though. Definitely check it out, guys.
Speaking of other dolls, there is a movie that recently came out that I think is on the rise of being an icon that
Ooh.
Megan.
relates to a killer doll. Yep, Megan.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up Megan. You brought her up at just the right time.
Yeah, and that was a perfect transition into her.
Yeah,
They're on the rise.
yeah, definitely on the
But
rise.
yeah, I watched that movie around the time it came out, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I know people are mixed about that movie as well. I thought it was kind of like a recycled version of 2019,
But
but it was
more
actually put in
grounded,
the
right?
it was like
hmm
put in the recycle bin type shit. Like it was they knew what they were doing.
I
And
remember I was there when you watched that because I watched it with you and I remember at first you weren't really fully on board, but the more I got into it, the more you were like more like yeah this is pretty cool, and you got more into it the further
yeah,
it went along.
yeah, especially the ending. Like I guess like I just said, like how it's like Child's Play 2019 clone in a way. But the ending, I feel like it was much more creepier when, spoiler alert, when the doll was getting more damaged throughout the
Oh
movie,
yeah, I loved
and
that.
the elements too, like like the elements they put in, like they put more life into this doll than any of the new Chucky stuff, and that's a fucking robot. Like how? Like that doesn't make any sense. And like people are complaining, oh, she's doing like dances and stuff like TikTok dances. Well, it fits that universe and it fits that character. Like
Yeah,
I would expect a doll like Megan to do something like that because it's owned by a little girl.
man, I couldn't agree
Supposed to be
more.
childish.
And I also like
And
how grounded it was too, right? For that
yeah,
universe.
yeah, Megan's fucked up. Megan's really fucked up, and
She actually said some
Megan,
shit that I was like, damn, like wow.
yeah, making Chucky look more like a pussy.
There's a few parts where it kind of got me emotional because I was like, damn, like the writing here is pretty good. Like it feels like these characters feel real, and I like that. And I just love how they did. Like Megan was great. I can't say enough good things about it. I mean, yeah, it's obviously not a perfect movie. There's always gonna be like nitpicks, but the nitpicks for this movie are never big or anything. Like, I can't currently think of anything that would like technically bother me besides the fact that it wasn't R rated. I feel like it deserved an R rating, and it should have been R rated. But other than that, I can't really think of many issues because the movie, in my opinion, it has great writing. The acting is all good, and everyone does a great job. They put their all into this project, and I can't wait for when they do another Megan because I want to see what they do next. Like, I'm super excited, and I do think she's like a next icon, and she has a lot of potential, just like another icon that we definitely want to talk about. And you guys probably know where I'm going with this, right? We're talking about Art the Clown.
Yeah. Art the Clown.
Punk of
Yeah,
Fire.
I'll let you guys talk first about that because I'm still mixed on that character.
I do want
Yo,
to say real quick that mainly a lot of my what I want to talk about here is that I feel like as far as indie horror goes, I feel like indie horror is taking over with films like Terrifier 2. I'm gonna be honest, like I never like I covered Terrifier 2 quite a bit on the channel and people know how passionate I am about this franchise. And when I went to go see it in theaters, or before I went to go see it in theaters, I remember looking up trying to figure out if it was gonna go on digital at the same time. And when I found out it wasn't, I was so bummed out because I knew that my theater would not get it because my theater doesn't get movies like that usually. And so I was super bummed. And then I looked at where the closest one would be, and it was 4 hours away, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to go see it. And so I texted my buddy Israel, who did the theme music for Chiller Avenue that you heard at the beginning. I texted him. I was like, yo, Terrifier 2 is 4 hours away to go see it at theaters. Do you want to go with me? And he said, hell yeah, I'm down. And so I asked my boss for my boss at the time for a form to pretty much get that day off, and I was able to get the day off to go see it. And I'm never gonna forget it. I had so much fun on that trip because we didn't just go to see Terrifier 2. We went to go do other stuff. Like we went to Walmart, we went to GameStop, and keep in mind those areas aren't where I currently live. And that's a part of why I want to move from where I live currently, because those things aren't here, but they were in that area, and there's so much. And I was super excited because I got quite a bit of things that I was super happy to be able to buy. But then after that, we got to go see Terrifier 2, and man, it was quite the theater experience. Seeing Terrifier 2, seeing Art the Clown on a big screen like that, man, I'm never gonna forget it. I felt like kind of a fever dream. It felt like it wasn't actually happening, but it was, and I'm happy that I got to experience Terrifier 2 in the theater because it was worth that trip out of town, in my opinion. The gore was great. The acting, in my opinion, was pretty good, especially from David Howard Thorne. He fucking kills it. The music, obviously, man, the aesthetic in the music is definitely one of my favorite things about the Terrifier movies. I love Damon Leone's style of directing. I do love David Howard Thornton's acting, and I love how a lot of Art the Clown's mannerisms are improv, and he does a great job at it. Like, he really owns that character, and that's what I love about David Howard Thornton's performance as Art the Clown. He really owns the character, and he gives the character personality without even speaking, and that's a feat that not a lot of slashers can really do. Art the Clown is able to do that flawlessly. I'm fine with however long they take these films, and just as long as the story is great and gives us what we're looking for pretty much, and it concludes perfectly at the end, because I'm sure that Damon Leone, he has a kind of a plan of what he wants to do, and unlike Chucky, I'm sure he doesn't want to keep beating a dead horse and keep the series going on forever. He's even said that he doesn't want Terrifier to go on forever, and that he wants the franchise to have an ending, and I appreciate that, because a lot of franchises like Terrifier and Friday the 13th and Halloween just want to keep their horror villains or horror icons going for as long as possible, instead of just giving them just an outright conclusion and ending that series off, and to where it's not going to just get stale. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that Damon Leone is not going to let his character go stale, and I hope to see him make more than just Terrifier movies, because I'm sure he has a lot of ideas, I'm sure, and I want to see what he's able to make as a filmmaker other than Terrifier 3 and 4 or whatever else. And I'm sure he has a lot of ideas, because he's even hinted at doing pretty much films centered around the Ninth Circle, which is a short film that he did that has Art the Clown in it for a little bit, but it's not really centered on him, but it's also included in All Hallows Eve. Indie horror is taking over of films like Terrifier 2. We've seen a lot of cool indie horror movies other than just Terrifier 2, but it's really happening. Indie horror, these creative horror directors are coming out, and they're making really cool projects, and they're really showing that you don't need a ton of money to make a great horror movie. You don't need like to be in Hollywood to make something compelling. And yeah, these horror directors are really, they're proving a point. And even like a film like Skinamarink, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like Skinamarink very much, but I appreciate that he tried something different, and some people liked it, some people didn't. And I'll definitely have to talk about that more in the future. I don't know. I just, especially after seeing movies like Halloween Ends, man, that movie was such a fucking mess. I hated Halloween Ends. It's crazy to me that Art the Clown was able to like kind of like dethrone Michael Myers a little bit for that month. Like he literally like yeah, like it's not like his month at that point because I thought that like Halloween was like for Michael Myers and stuff. Like I thought that like he was the real champ of Halloween, but no, like Art the Clown really took over for Halloween that season with
The
Terrifier 2.
best horror movie of 2022ish, 3ish is Jeepers Creepers Reborn.
No, don't bring that up again. That movie is awful. You haven't seen it, Dom. I'm telling you, it's a piece
I
of
don't even
shit.
want to fucking see it
I might
because it
have to
looks
show you.
horrible.
Just because you said that,
You
I
know,
might have
you're
to
not
show
gonna show
you.
me
Wait,
shit.
what movie?
You're not
Jeepers
showing me a
Creepers
goddamn
Reborn.
thing.
Oh, no, oh, why would you even bring that up, bro? Oh my God, no, we don't talk about that. As a
Oh,
Jeepers Creepers
have
1
you
and
even
2
seen the
fan,
original? Have you even seen the original?
I actually grew up on both of them. Me and my grandma watched 1 and 2 together.
The
So
One and
first
Jeep,
two
two are
are
good.
amazing,
This is
but
the best
three
two.
is awful. Jeepers Creepers Reborn. My God, I'm sorry for even saying that Jeepers Creepers 3 was because it's man. After seeing Jeepers Creepers Reborn, like yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like it makes Jeepers Creepers 3 look like a decent movie.
like,
It's bad.
like you didn't you couldn't think that 3 like it could get worse from after that because like I remember watching a lot of reactions to 3 and like everyone said the same like how can it get worse from here and literally Reborn was just oh my you could tell it was in front of a green screen and the story
Yeah, you seen it
God
though? I didn't know that you
Uh,
saw it.
yes I haven't seen the entire thing but I watched like some reactions to it so I basically got I seen enough of it to know. I didn't sit down and watch the whole thing, but I watched enough reactions and
Do
like
not
reviews and
watch it.
stuff. Yeah, that's why I chose to just do that because I didn't want to sit down and watch it
Yeah.
I watched 1 and 2 growing up. 3 I watched like a Dead Meat or whatever, and then Reborn I watched like a Struggle Nation. I watched their reaction to it and
Yeah, the
oh yeah,
only
it's
yeah.
better
good
than
like
the
Jeepers Creepers
other.
movies are the first two.
Huh?
First two are masterpieces. Jeepers Creepers
Oh.
1 and 2 are great, but
Oh,
everything
which
after
one
that is awful.
which one do you like more, 1 or 2?
I like the
I
first
like
one
one.
more, but 2 is great too. Like I love 2.
I I kind of like 2. I really like the whole like the school bus of being
Yeah.
trapped and
I mean,
that's
honestly, like, yeah, like for it being set on the school bus most of the time, Jeepers Creepers 2 does it pretty well, and it's actually like it's entertaining. Like it's actually like they do it really good to the point to where like it's not boring or anything, or it's not like you feel like it's dragging on for too long. No, like they do it really well. The writing's really good for that one.
yeah. And I just want to circle back to this because I didn't really like say anything about Terrifier 2 yet, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I knew that um Terrifier 2 was like let's just say like I went to see it and like let's just take my what I think about it away. I went to go. Did I? Oh no, I didn't see it with him. Damn, I didn't see it with my friends. Uh, I'm thinking of another movie for some reason. I was
Okay.
thinking of I was thinking of Megan. Oh, that's why I wanted to circle back as because I didn't get to say it, but I knew that Megan was a good movie when I left there because shout out to my friends Ashley and Darius. I went to go see it with them because they don't really see a lot of like us. They don't like go see a lot of horror movies like that. And especially something like that, and they really enjoyed it. I still got to show them Terrifier, but they're, they think they're gonna get sick watching it or something because it's, how gruesome it is. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, but Terrifier 2, You already know I love it because if you don't know, I have a character that I made named Punkifier, which is like a my own like version of Terrifier, just a punk rock version. Think of like if you play Spider-Man PS4, how he had a punk rock version. And but yeah, Terrifier 2, like movies like Jeepers Creepers, like why do we it's if you're not gonna do anything new, stay in the times, try to switch it up. Films like Terrifier 2 are just gonna come and like, take over because
Well, like
we won't.
also, another thing. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I something I wanted to mention is that trying something new doesn't always work because
Oh
how
yeah,
it ends kind of got the wrong idea.
yeah, they did.
Yeah,
I think with ends that was an issue because from what I saw in the interviews and stuff with the director, they were like how the original Halloween, how it was only supposed to be one and then it was supposed to be different movies because it was supposed to be like an anthology type of thing. It wasn't supposed to
yeah.
be Michael Myers. I feel like he was trying to do something like that, but keep Michael Myers basically. Like he was trying to do like a love story, trying to have two dark souls come together and blah blah blah, and it just I really don't know where they kind of lost it with ends because what's fucked up about it is all of the marketing and everything pretty much made it seem like it was a Michael and Laurie movie. It's the same thing with
Yeah.
Chucky. The Chucky season, it's the same thing where
They
they
gave
made
everyone
you
blue
think.
balls.
Yes, they made everyone think it was gonna all be about this, but then it comes out and it was like clickbait a little bit because it was like you made it seem like it wasn't really, you know, it ended up being a love story instead of what it was, and
What's
it's
Yeah.
crazy
just
about that? What's crazy about all that shit is that 2018 was originally going to be a one-off movie, and then they figured out they can make a lot of money for
well,
doing a
yeah,
trilogy. So
yeah.
that's
I mean,
why the movies get like more like ridiculous because they just keep riding on ideas and shit.
And
yeah,
like the thing
like
about Kills though is that like Kills had like potential to actually be decent. And I think what a lot of what holds Kills back is some of the like dumb like plot points that they added in that didn't really belong in that movie. And if they
yeah,
had removed like a couple of things and like either added onto things or just added like just elements in general that the film needed, I feel like Kills would have been an actually pretty good movie. I just feel like that they just banked on too many ideas and they try to like do like some like kind of like put some message behind like them somehow mistaking some random ass inmate or psychiatric patient as Michael Myers. I mean that makes no sense. Like you don't know what Michael Myers looks like. Like they
yeah,
chase
That's
some
worse
random
than
dude.
Resurrection.
Yeah,
The
like they
mechanic shit.
it was so dumb. Like that I don't know why they put that point in there. Like it made no damn sense. Like they don't know what Michael Myers looks like. Like he's all over the place. Like how do they not know like what he looks like?
yeah. Because if you think about it too, you could actually compare how it's crazy how much of a comparison this is, but you can also compare, like how we were saying earlier about how Andy should have escaped the asylum and, killed all the Chuckies and escaped. Halloween End should have did the opposite, where because I really thought that the way they were going with the story from the ending of Kills, which is that Michael was gonna make his way to the hospital and then he was gonna have to go up floors of the hospital and face different people from the previous movies. That's what I thought they were gonna kind of do, and we did not get that at all. They did the same
Oh,
thing
that would have
with
been so cool actually.
yeah, that's what I thought they were gonna do, honestly, and that would have been amazing. But instead, they did what they did in Chucky, and they kind of just did a time skip and just shoved it to the side and and I just God man there was so much potential for after kills because I thought it was all going to take place in one night, blah blah blah, but it's
Yeah.
just it didn't work out that way.
Like I said, blue balls. They gave us blue balls.
Yeah, and I think that's a big issue with horror at the moment where the indie horror scene, the new indie horror scene is doing stuff fresh, is doing stuff new, is taking old and new and putting it together and making it good. Because like you said, not all new things work out. That's why you take what did work and you just incorporate it in a new way where it will work, but it's still adding that fresh like pop to it, or you
Exactly.
know, or I guess you could say that chiller vibe that everyone's kind of itching for, and
Chill
it's
Avenue.
just yeah, and it's just crazy how, films like Terrifier 2 and, Megan and all of that is kind of just giving us what we want, but the old franchises are blue balling us, and I guess you could say they're staying to the old times, while
Yeah.
all these newer movies are staying to the new times.
The only franchise that's doing it like right at the moment is Scream. That's the
Yeah.
only franchise, and we'll definitely have to talk about Scream 6 for a future episode since you still got to see it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I know I should have seen it by now.
no, no, you're good. I understand, but
Oh,
yeah,
I just
it's
meant for like the people. Like they're like he hasn't seen Scream 6 yet. Yeah, I'm still supposed to see it with my cousin Chris. Shout out Chris, but we haven't gotten the
yeah,
chance to see it in theaters, which sucks. But we'll watch it.
yeah. I think we've been recording for about an hour and 30, so we should probably end it.
Yeah, wrap it
But
up.
yeah, I'm happy to finally do this podcast. So we've been talking about this for months, and we're finally recording it. I can't believe it. Definitely feels like kind of like a rough draft or pilot at the moment, but that's fine. We'll eventually work our way into doing this more. So it'll just take us time to fully get down this rhythm, but don't worry, guys. We'll work into it. We'll eventually perfect this podcast, and that's fine. Like I've never actually done a podcast full on before, so yeah, just bear with us. Like, give us a couple more episodes, and we'll have it down to a T. I betcha.
Yeah.
Subscribe for more. Subscribe to all of our channels. Mine. Subscribe to my channel. NIGHTMARECRIPT. Damn Dude Industries.
Dr.
Mm.
Scoliosis.
Yeah, Dr.
Oh, there
Scoliosis.
you are. Now you want to show up when we shout on our accounts.
We'll work on getting Chiller Avenue more out there in terms of like being on Spotify and Apple TV and stuff. So yeah, we'll work eventually. Like we'll work this into being the full fledged podcast that we want it to be. And so I hope that you guys are along for the ride on this journey. And I appreciate we all appreciate you guys, those of you who are going to be along for it.
Yeah, and the people watching right now, we appreciate you for being day ones, and hopefully, supporting as we kind of go through this new adventure.
Yeah, definitely. But we're done. We're out of here. We're gonna walk back down the Boys Water road, back into our houses. On Chiller Avenue. So
I just like
yeah,
to sit on the street corner, and well, I like to actually walk around at night and listen to music, and maybe cop a body or two. You never know.
yeah. Like
Gotta
do it.
keep killing it.
Yeah, gotta keep killing it.
Keep killing hookers.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah. Run over hookers and skin them for their meat.
Wow.
Okay, I was talking about GTA 5.
I really hope we're blue. Oh, uh, yeah. That was just how nowhere I didn't expect you to say.
Had to make it more interesting. But yeah, we're out of here. We'll catch you in the next episode of Chiller Avenue, which I hope will not be far from now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to keep on slashing.